Hello everyone and welcome to the class. This is David A. Cox with TechTalkAmerica.com, and today I am teaching my class on how to clean and protect your Mac. We're going over a ton of different tricks today. Some involve just simple things that you do on your Mac, some involve some third-party software, most of which is all free, and you will be amazed at how much free space you get back on your computer. I have a small request for those of you who are willing to indulge me. When I show you how to figure out how much free space you have on your computer, write down that number. When you're done going through all these different tricks, write down the number that you now have, okay? Let us know how much space did we get you back. And I just think it would be great if a bunch of people left that in the comment section, because people who have not seen this class will clearly see that we know our stuff here, hopefully. At least most of the time. So I think we're almost ready to begin here. We are going to give you chapter markers, so if you would like to jump ahead, you can go into the description of the video. And the last thing I want to mention real quickly is for a very specific part of the audience that is probably tuning in. For those of you out there who have a laptop that is over 4 years old, and for those of you who have a desktop that is over 6 years old, if you are watching this class because you're getting that little spinning beach ball pinwheel of death, that's, by the way, the affectionate name that we have for it that Apple doesn't talk about, well, this may not help you, unfortunately. If you get that a lot, I would still recommend that you do everything that we go over today, but please understand that that's usually right around the time frame that hard drive failure happens. So it's very much less so the case if you have a solid state drive, obviously. But if you have one of those traditional spinny hard drives, might be time to bring it to an Apple store, and I would caution you, if your computer is, on the more vintage side, shall we say, don't do the repair. Just put that money towards a new computer instead. Save yourself the time. So last thing before we begin here, very quick. I've said this a million times in our classes, and I just want to emphasize it. When I show you third-party software, I'm giving you a link for a reason. It is to protect you. If you Google most of the software that we're going over today, quite a few of those links are scams, okay? They try to make it look like the software that I'm teaching. It's not. It's something very, very different, in disguise, not bueno. You do not want that on your computer. And if you do accidentally put it on your computer, I'm going to also today show you the software to take it off, so we can cover everyone. All right, here we go. Clean and protect your Mac. Coming up next on TechTalkAmerica.com. I thought we would start today's class by going over how to identify where the issue may be located. So a lot of times when I'm working with people, it's not the fact that they have 50,000 photos, and that's what's the problem with their computer. Quite a few of them do have a lot of photos, but they also have just all of these files that they forgot were there. And so that's a lot of what we're going to be going after and targeting today. So let's find out where that problem exists, and we're going to do that by going up here to the Apple icon that you see here at the top left corner of your screen, and we're going to go into About This Mac. Now from here, and I want to make sure you all know, okay, I'm on Sierra, so some of these parts may look differently if you are not on Sierra. So let's go here into Storage, the middle tab, and your computer's going to take a second or two to calculate this number, but it's going to basically tell you this is the number we're talking about, okay? If you put your cursor over this last item here, the one that's clear or gray, it's going to say this is how much free space you currently have. This is not my main computer, by the way. There would never be that much free space if this were my main computer. So write down that number, if you will, okay? But also it's a good idea at this point to look at what else is going on. So if I put my cursor over the yellow item here, you can see I've got about 27 gigabytes of system files. That's about normal. That's not too big. 30 gigabytes of documents. For a lot of you, that would be huge. These are actually video documents, so that's why that's there. And in my case, it's my other user account that's taking up the most on this particular computer. So this will give you kind of a general layout of, hey, here's what you got, okay? From here, if you want, you can go into Manage, and I would strongly suggest that you do, okay? Now, the first item that you see here is called Store in iCloud. Now, for those of you who are on the free plan of iCloud, it's time to get off the wagon. I would say everyone needs at least the $1 a month plan, which is 50 gigabytes. If you don't really do anything with your computer, then don't worry about it. But for the vast majority of you, you need at least 50 gigs at this point in time. So, and if you use this option, you definitely will need it, because what this will do is this is going to take the data that's on in your documents folder and on your desktop, and it's going to move it to the cloud. So you can see the description right there. Store all files and photos in iCloud and save space by keeping only the recently opened files and optimized files and optimized photos on this Mac when storage is needed. So that's a great way to just clear out a ton of space. You will be shocked at how much that goes down. Next one here is optimize storage for iTunes specifically. So what this is going to do is, let's say you have a bunch of movies that you bought like 3 Christmases ago, and you've never watched them since, so wipe them out there. Keep in mind, anytime you buy content on iTunes, what you're really buying is a license. So if you want to watch it down the road, you can just go back and get it for free. So you might as well clear those out. So with Optimize, it's just going to wipe out the TV shows and the movies. Very, very simple. Next one here, I know is very beneficial to a lot of you out there, just purely based on how many people I work with. I've seen quite a few people who have not emptied their trash in, let's be honest, years. So for those people out there, this may be a very good option, which is it will automatically empty files that you have trashed after they've been there for 30 days. Very simple. And then finally, we have review files, which is under reduce clutter. So what that's going to do is it's going to pull up a list of all of your files. It's not truly all your files, okay? It's basically all media, essentially, also including documents. And it's going to just allow you to organize them, and through there you can find where they are and with one click delete them. The other thing, though, that you can do is if you go here on the left-hand side, you can see here we have a list of the different types of things I have. So let's go, for example, here into applications. So I have 15, call it 15 and a half gigabytes of apps on my computer. And no shocker, I'm going to guess without looking, number 1 is Final Cut Pro. Oh my God, he's right. Yeah, Final Cut. Love it, love it, love it, love it. It is a big, big app. Okay, so from here, you can go to any of the apps and check this out. You can just hit the little X icon right here, and it will remove it. I don't know how much Apple has refined this process. The only thing I would kind of a little bit caution you about removing an app through this. If you got it through the App Store, that should be fine. There's another piece of software that I'm going to recommend later, which we'll get to, which will find apps and go after all of the library files. So this may or may not be the best way for you to do it. Okay, so you can go through here, find them. If you hit the spyglass, that'll show you where it is. If you hit the X, bye-bye. Let's close that out. Okay. Next thing that we are going to go over here. I'm going to show you a location where stuff is stored on your computer. Be very careful when you go here, okay? You may even want to consider calling Apple before you deal with anything here. It is very possible, I've seen it happen several times, where you can have corrupted files floating around in your library folder. So just please understand that if you start just randomly deleting files in the library folder, you can absolutely get yourself in trouble. So proceed with caution, please. If you go up here, we're clicked on the desktop, right? So it says Finder at the top left. We're going to go over to Go, okay? Now, this is funny. They changed the location of this a couple of years ago. It is actually in this list. If you hold down on your keyboard the Option key, it reveals the location of the library. They just didn't really want people messing with it. So they hid it. So through here, if you go into any of these folders and tabulate how much stuff is in it, which I'm going to show you in a moment, and there's one that's just astronomically huge. And by the way, I've usually found it to be, there's a couple of different places where it can be. It can be iTunes. It can be, I want to say mobile data. There's a bunch of them, okay? What you can do is you can click on the folder, okay? And here's a great trick. This works on every file on the Mac. Command-I, okay? So that'll open up a window. It'll tell you how much stuff, in this case 270 megabytes, is in the application support folder. Now, if you want to do this maybe a little bit faster, okay, here's another trick. If you click on one folder, hold the Shift key, and then let's just click on one down here. Okay, let's click on cookies. I love cookies. Chocolate chip, please. What you can also do is you can you tell I'm a goofball? You can tabulate all of those combined, all you do is you add, once again, the Option key. So Command Option, hit the letter I, okay? And now it's tabulating the total data. There we go, 4 gigabytes for all of those folders, nothing suspicious there. If it said something like, 500 gigabytes, definitely investigate further, but again, be very careful before you go deleting anything in here. Another thing I have found many times floating around in the library folder is old iOS operating systems. If you sync your phone with your computer through that cord, it's doing a backup locally, so if you just switch it over to iCloud, you don't need that, so you can trash it. Next one is a great trick to get back space. It is also a phenomenal way to get back space on your iPhone or your iPad, okay? Which is, well, let me propose it this way. When you have an email and you're done with it, what do? You delete it, right? When you have a voicemail and you're done with it, what do? You delete it. What about text messages? Many, many people, myself included, never ever delete text messages, okay? They just kind of go to the bottom of the list, and then the next time that person messages, it comes right back, and there you go. Where this can be a bit of a problem is when you or your friends send a lot of picture text messages. The little text itself doesn't take up any space, but nothing significant. But video and photos absolutely do. So I'm going to give you a trick to go through this quickly. I wish I could say that this trick was possible on the iPhone or the iPad. It's not, unfortunately, but at least I can save you some time on your Mac. So what you're going to do here is, again, sorry, teaching computers, so I'm going to have to verbally describe you. So in the left-hand column here, you'd have the names of the people or their phone numbers, okay, and then over here you have the conversation when you click on it. What you do is you click on any one of them. Now, if you normally just hit the delete key, it'll say, are you sure you want to delete? Yes. And then an hour later, you're still doing it. So here's the way to get around it. All you have to do is hold the Command key, okay? So if you hold the Command key and then just rapid tap that delete button, okay, it's just going to fly through the whole list very, very quickly. There you go. I just saved you an hour of time. Next few items that we're going to talk about are in the Photos app. So let's go in here. Now, the first item that I want to mention, if this applies to you, if you have a lot of duplicates, I'm not going to waste everyone's time by going over it right now. There is an app that I tend to recommend for dealing with this issue. What I will tell you before you watch the class is that, and there's a link to the class in the description of the video, it is good software. It does what it says. I think they could have designed it to be a little bit more intuitive, and that's why I have a class on it. So just have that expectation, okay? But if you want to check that out, go into the description of this video. You can check it out. It's how to remove duplicate photos from Photos or something like that. The next couple tricks also here in Photos, and again, forgive me, I have to give you a little bit of a verbal walkthrough on some of these. So here on the left-hand side, and please understand, I use a sidebar, not everyone does. If you want your computer to look like this, go to View and go to, here it would say Show Sidebar, okay? So have that up. So here in this list, under your albums, there's a couple of key albums that you want to go to because, frankly, a lot of them tend to have photos that we accidentally take. The first one is screenshots, and this is going to be a big one for those of you who have an iPhone, an iPad, or an Apple Watch. On any of those devices, it is ridiculously easy to accidentally take a screenshot. So they kind of add up over time, so you can just go into there and make sure there's nothing legit, but you can very quickly select all those photos and delete them. Next one I want to mention here is videos. This is not my first take teaching this class, so I had a video and forgot to restore it. Over here in albums, you will also see videos. And the reason why it's a really good idea to go in and check videos, don't laugh, a ton of people do this, okay? A ton of people don't realize when they're taking a photo that their camera's in video mode. And then they shoot half an hour of video, it's like in their pocket recording, and they don't even know it's there. So go through the video files, see if there's anything there like that. If you're brave, you can maybe say guilty of that in the comments section below and humor me. So that's another one to look for. And then finally, the last thing I want to say about Photos is keep in mind that Photos has its own trash. So if you want this space back now, what you need to do is go over here into Recently Deleted. Okay, there's that video. And then you can hit Delete All at the top right. Because normally it's going to hold on to your stuff for up to 40 days, although I could have sworn I've seen some of mine that go longer than that. Next stop, Downloads folder. So what we're going to do is open up Finder here at the bottom left, happy little Mac icon. I have my computer already go to Downloads, and what we're going to do from here is we're going to click over here. Some of you may be up here at the top, okay, but you see this bar right here. Let me actually just go to that because most of you are going to have this kind of view. Okay, what you want to do is click on where it says kind so that it's organizing the files by kind. There's a couple of different file formats that you should probably be familiar with because a lot of times they end up in your Downloads folder, you forget that they're there, and you do not need them. Number one on that list, and I think I even have one right there, DMG. Okay, DMG is basically it's a disk image essentially. So it's the computer thinking that it's like a CD was put into your computer. Sorry, I'm dumbing it down, I know. But you would take that software, you'd move it into your applications folder, and then you're done with it. So if you see software here, like there's one that we're about to talk about, okay, you already have it in the applications folder, you don't need it, you can just trash it. By the way, it worked in another app, it works in other apps too. Command delete is send directly to trash. So if you don't want to have to drag it, Command delete will send it straight there to the trash. Okay, the other file formats you want to just kind of be aware of, obviously .mov files, .mpeg, MPEG, those would be video files, AVI is another one, MP4, M4K, man, how many of these do I know by heart? There's quite a few. A couple other file formats, zip would be one, .rar is another. So just look for these, see if you have the content, and then you can trash them. Another thing you should know is when you get in a zip file, okay, a lot of times this is coming in through email, of photos, okay, when you unzip it, it's usually a folder of photos. So if you're going through here and you see like a folder of photos, or it also works for music, okay, so if you see a folder of music, folder of photos, you can actually drag that entire folder into either Photos or iTunes, depending on which one it is, of course, and then trash it, because when you put it into those apps, it's going to store its own copy, provided that you set it up that way when you originally got it, which is the default. Next one's a quickie, and it's for a very small part of the crowd, I'm guessing. For any of you out there who use Final Cut Pro, my favorite app, by the way. If you are Final Cut Pro editors, you may want to check and make sure that your library file is not in the local movies folder, unless you meant to do that. Please know that if you want to move the library folder to an external hard drive, you have to be incredibly careful doing this. In fact, you cannot just simply drag it and drop it. It does not work that way. What I will do is, if you are looking to do this, I apologize, I don't have time to do a video showing everyone how to do it right now, but in the meantime, what I will do is I'll put a link to another video that will show you how to do that, because it can really screw up everything. Also, for those of you who use iMovie, you may want to also check the movies folder as well. Make sure you don't have any old projects there that you just don't really need anymore. You know, if it was, a fun little video you made for Thanksgiving 5 years ago, do you really need it now? Well, as long as you export a copy of it, there's really no need to have the actual edit file there. So once again, you're going to go into the movies folder and look for that kind of thing, and if you don't need it, you can trash it. Next trick I want to share with all of you is a really simple, handy app, good to have on your computer. And please, as I said in the beginning of the video, please use my link. Don't risk it. Do not Google this piece of software. freemacsoft.net/appcleaner if you defy me, okay? That's the direct address, and I did not need to look at my screen to know that one. I set this thing up all the time. So this is just a really handy, simple tool. You can see the support goes way back to, wow, really, Tiger? 10.4, back in the days. Did they have electricity back then? So you can download this. It's really easy. It's good to go. You don't have to do any kind of installation. It'll be in your downloads folder. One little thing I would say is don't forget to move it into your applications folder over here. I already have it, so I'm not going to do that. So let me just kind of give you an idea of what this app looks like, because this is something that I do believe all of you should have on your computer. Just simple. So what we're going to do from here is, this is what the app looks like. We're going to go to this little icon at the top right corner. It's just going to show you a list. This is every app that you have on your Mac, so now you can all see what I've got on my computer. Nothing illegal, folks. I pay for it, seriously. So you can go through anything here. If you see something you don't like let's say I don't like Blackmagic disk speed test, it's good. I'm not saying get rid of it. You can just with one click hit remove, and if you look there, you can see it is removing those library files, which is important. There is an exception to the rule, and I have to be very careful how I say this. So some of you who have been following me for a couple of years, you are welcome to say whatever you want in the comment section at this point. So there is an app that's out there on the internet, on the interweb, that is very heavily targeted towards Mac users, and it will claim to clean your Mac. I would not recommend, personally, that you use it. And you'll notice I'm not even saying their name. So if you have software that's on your computer that is claiming to clean your Mac, okay, it will be removed thanks to the next piece of software that I'm about to show you. This is also the only security software you need on your computer, unless you are very high profile, and then I work with a couple of them, okay? But if you're an average Joe or Jane or whatever, definitely have this software on your computer. You do not need anything else. So that piece of software is, I should have had it preloaded, shouldn't I? Damn, I hate it when it's so anti-dramatic like that. Malwarebytes.com. Darn. All right. I'm at least helping you. Go to home if you decide to go straight to the website. It's really weird because they have both a PC version and a Mac version. For those of you out there who have PC friends, I hear they're nice people, supposedly. Some of them. Joking, all right? This is a great piece of software for them too, in all seriousness. I would say for the PC folks, get the paid version. Do not go with the free version. Mac owners, good news, there is only a free version. So you're gonna hit download, and you can thank a buddy of mine, by the way, because he made it. Or actually, he made a different piece of software that was acquired by them. So anyways, what we're gonna do, I wanna show you what this thing looks like. Oh, by the way, when you download it to your computer, this is important. Stay focused, David. This is your mother speaking to you. Hi. You're gonna go into your downloads folder. I'm sorry, I'm such a goofball. I've recorded this class like 5 times today. Go into your downloads folder, and you're gonna look for this file right here. It's MBAM, Malwarebytes anti-something. Don't know. Anyways, that's the file right here. You're gonna double click on it. You're gonna drag it into the applications folder, okay? Installs like a standard piece of software. This is something that I would very strongly recommend that you run on your computer probably at least once a month, or if you notice anything funky. So let me give you just a couple of very quick symptoms to just be kind of on alert, okay? If you notice that you're getting pop-ups, okay, you're getting redirected to other websites, like you try to go to one website and you're just brought to a totally different website, or your homepage doesn't quite look like the way it used to, like it looks a little bit like Google, but not quite like Google, okay? These are all symptoms of potentially adware, also known as malware, okay? So this software, free, will go ahead and nail the sucker, okay? It is like rid for your computer. Some of you are gonna love me for that comment. Some of you are gonna be like, he's sick, David is gross. Sorry, it's just me. So here you're gonna go to scan. That was hard, right? Go to scan. It's gonna scan through your computer. It's gonna take a minute or two. We'll just let it run in the background. I know it's already clean as a whistle. If it does find anything, I would like to give you the instructions for what to do next. What you need to do is basically it's gonna trash the files. You're gonna reboot your computer. As soon as it reboots, the first thing you're gonna do is empty the trash, okay? There's one other step, and it's because of a very specific threat for the Mac. It is very, very common. What you're gonna do is go to your web browser, open up your web browser, whatever it is, whether it's Safari or Chrome or one of those other horrible ones, and you're gonna go into preferences for it. And what you wanna be looking for is, it's gonna say what the home page is. If it's anything other than what it should be, delete whatever's in there and tell it to go to Google or Facebook or whatever you decide to have it go to. If it looks at all strange or suspicious, get rid of it, okay? If you want to see a more full class on this. There's a couple of other things you can be looking for. We'll put a link to that class that deals specifically with this piece of software. It's very short in the description of the video. Woohoo! Scan complete. I am all good. Time to party. So the next one is, I don't know if you would really call it a trick. It's more of a panic button, okay? Please understand, I work with people all the time. Sorry, I'm putting the goofball side away for a moment. I work with people all the time, and I know that when someone gets hit by a scam, you know, and there's some that are out there that are really, really nasty, some people freak out, okay? I want to give you what to do in an emergency, which is to get me, if you should choose to do so. We quietly rolled out a video last week. We're going to do a larger announcement down the road. I am now doing private lessons. So if you would like to take a private lesson with me, by the way, this is a pilot program. This video is on the internet forever, so it may or may not be active by the time you see it, okay? If you go over to techtalkamerica.com/private lessons, okay, it basically walks you through everything here for what to do. And basically what we do is we use a piece of software called TeamViewer. It's used by many of my clients, many corporations use this. It's for remote viewing. So basically what you can do is if you go on this website, you scroll down and see it says click here, okay? When you click that, it's gonna download a really small piece of software, and there's instructions right here on the website for how to install it. And if you have an emergency situation, you can open that app, you can pay for a lesson, and I can get on your computer and we can talk to each other. I can't see you, but I can see your screen. So if you run to an absolute panic, or if you just want to learn how to better use your Mac, we do private lessons too. That is why it's called private lessons. You can check that out. Finally, folks, last trick, okay? This is by far the most dramatic one, and I want to tell you to please proceed with caution. If you decide to do this, please back up your data before you do anything. The last thing that you can do is to reinstall the operating system to your computer. I have found that many times when I've done this on my computer, I take a look at how much free space I have before, I take a look at how much free space I have after, and it's fairly significant, the amount that you can get back. So because you can't watch this video on your computer as you're doing this, I'm gonna be a really nice guy. I'm gonna ask you to hit that like button. Please hit the like button. And we're gonna create a PDF guide. So that way, if you decide you wanna do that, just go down into the notes section, just click on it. It's a simple PDF guide. You can print it or put it on your iPhone if you prefer, if you wanna be a little more green friendly. And you can go through the process of reinstalling the operating system. Just please understand, if your hard drive is failing, this is incredibly dangerous, okay? So once again, proceed with caution. Folks, I hope you have enjoyed this class. As you may be able to tell, I kind of love my job. I know it's really, I disguise it very, very well. I'm sorry. Thank you to all of our fans who've been so supportive of us over the years. If you have not done so, if you just kind of stumbled onto this video out of nowhere, hit the little logo right next to me and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way, when we come out with new content, you can be notified and see it then. This is David A. Cox with TechTalkAmerica.com. Class dismissed.